All right, welcome in. It is Tuesday. It is time for Total Bases. I'm here with Bryan, Leonard, Tokyo Brandon, your go-to show for Major League Baseball. Free picks on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. We've got day baseball on a Tuesday, which is actually tremendous. It's not even part of a doubleheader. It's just a random day game on a Tuesday. Yankees, Blue Jays, we'll talk about that. We're going to get right into it, though. 15 games, no time to mess around. I want to start and talk about Reds, Red Sox. But first, I want to talk about what we saw last night, which was Chase Burns in a compromising spot, giving up a touchdown in the first inning in his second big league start. It begs the question, Bryan Leonard, did they rush him up? Should he have been in that situation? And where does he go from here? So talk to me about that.
Yeah, I talked about that yesterday, how that was the game to watch. And it didn't take long to realize what was going on. Even the Red Sox announcers were mentioning it. They said they're swinging as if they know that what pitch is coming. Obviously, they talked about that. They said he was tipping his pitches. And I'm no expert, but when you're throwing, you're known to throw really fast, you're a great fastball pitcher. You dominate in that regard. And he's throwing sliders and curveballs, and it's the first pitch of the at-bat, and they're right on it. I've never seen a game open up with that many first pitch swings. And they obviously, when you're facing a guy like that, you don't want to get behind in the count. We saw that with the Brewers rookie. They've been swinging early in the count with him too. But it was clear that something was up. So don't downgrade him based on that start. Obviously, he didn't pitch well, but when somebody catches that early on in your career, he's obviously stunned because he hasn't been hit like that before. So don't think that he's stuck now and he's going down to the minors. They'll correct that the next time out, and then he'll probably be back similar to where he was in his first start.
Tokyo Brandon today? As a TB, as a scout, yeah. How often did you come across something like that? Like where a guy, I don't think people truly understand how gifted and talented these guys are, that they can literally see, okay, so he's squeezing his glove when he's going to throw a slider. He's not when he's going to throw a fastball. And they can take that information and turn it into a 400-foot rope the other way. Like, did you see a lot of that during your time dealing with players?
Yes, a lot. And, most of the games I was watching most of the games I was going to were not, top level games. They were like AA, AAA in Japan. So, but yeah, Japanese pitchers, though, they're a lot more, I don't know what the word is, more disciplined, I guess. So there are a lot less tells and sign stealing in Japan because they're really good at like hiding that stuff. So, yeah, in Japan, not quite as prevalent, but the pregame notes are quite important. And I guarantee you there were pregame notes on swing. He's going to throw a fastball right up the middle on pitch number 1 and swing your ass off on it. I guarantee that was the pregame notes in that game. And that's what they did. And a young guy can't adjust to that. He just couldn't adjust to it.
Yeah. And the other thing to point out too, like, and just goes back to Brian's point, do not think that that's going to happen next time out, because now with social media, the whole world knows. You'll have pitching ninja will tell him what he's done wrong in a couple hours, right? Like it used to be like, oh, is he tipping pitches? Like it would be whispers. Now some dude on social media has broken down how he's tipped the pitches before the game's even over. So rest assured, he will correct that. He's not going to be tipping going into the next game. I'm going to have an apology text thread to all of our Canadian friends, Prez, McInnes, Carmine, Freddie Mills, all my Canadian guys. It's Canada Day. That's why there's a day game in Canada, not a random day game, but we will get to that one. I want to stay here first. Let's go back to Bryan Leonard. Jesus Christ. Bryan Leonard. It's Reds. I was trying to say Brady Singer and Bryan Leonard at the same time, and that's what came out. Anyway, Reds, Red Sox. Now we have the Reds coming off of a blowout loss, but actually a pitching matchup that I think is somewhat appealing to the visitors. So how are you seeing this one at Fenway?
Yeah, the way Brady Singer's been pitching lately, it could be Bryan Leonard. He started the season off with a great effort his first time out, and we thought, well, maybe his fly ball tendencies wouldn't hurt him in Cincinnati, but it comes in with a 4.31 ERA, 4.71 expected, 1.33 WHIP. He's got great extension, 91st percentile. But if you take a look at the StatCast page, everything else is blue. Chase rate, 6th percentile, barrel rate, 12th percentile, average exit velocity, 11th. That means he's getting hit, and he's getting hit hard. And he's going up against Richard Fitz here, who's a guy that really showed in spring training. The team really liked what they saw, but because of injuries and because of other pitchers that are fighting for the position, he hasn't got much of a chance to pitch. He's only thrown 6 games, and he hasn't looked that great when you take a look at his numbers. 4.68 ERA, 5.88 expected, 1.28 WHIP. His chase rate is elite, 93rd percentile, but you've got to get ahead of the count to get them to chase. And right now, his barrel rate is in the 1st percentile, expected ERA 3rd percentile. So he's a better pitcher than what he has shown based on the way Boston was talking about him coming into the season. But it would not surprise me here if both teams do some damage. We've got in this one, we're looking at Fitz is now basically about a 111 favorite. Your total's 10. Anytime you get a 10 in Boston, you know that they're expecting some offense and the pitchers are not elite. So even though the line is 10 here, I still would expect this game to be one of the higher scoring games on the day. The only problem is that the line is 10, meaning you got to get 11 to win. And Boston, as we pointed out just a minute ago, kind of knew what was coming yesterday, which is why the offense looked so good. But this Boston team seemed to be good yesterday, and I think their hitting is better than what they've shown. I'm not so down on their offense since the trade. So, if my first look at this one would be the over.
I'm definitely not playing this game, so I'll make it quite brief. Both bullpens, I have them both ranked 24 out of 30 in current form, so not very good. I agree with Brian's assessment on Singer. There should be a lot of blue. Have him ranked in the bottom 1/3 of all starting pitchers. His career average in 40 at-bats against this team is quite high, but his OPS is not. So it means he gives up a lot of hits, but not a lot of. It means he gives up a lot of singles, but not a lot of doubles and home runs. He's given up 0 home runs to them, actually. So I don't really know what to read from that or what to expect. Regarding Fitz, I don't have enough information for him to log into my database, but he doesn't go deep into games, that's for sure. And he's only he went 6 innings twice, 5 innings once at the beginning of the season, but since then he's gone 3 innings, 1 inning, 4 innings. He doesn't walk a lot of people, which is good, but I just don't know what to expect from him, so I'm going to pass on this one.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of runs in this game, in my opinion. I've been very disappointed in Singer. He was someone that I was high on coming into the season. If you listen to or if you watched any of Red spring training and kind of followed them coming into the year, they really talked up his improved pitch mix and coming over from Kansas City, how they tweaked some things, and it was all very encouraging. And then you watched his first couple starts and you started to see some of that with increased strikeout numbers. If you go back, he had a pretty good April, right out of the gate. But since then, it's just, I guess the strikeouts have come back around the last couple starts, 9 against the Yankees, 7 against the Cardinals. But in the subsequent starts, it was all 4 strikeouts, hard contact, not something that I really want to go in and go into Fenway and put on the line, right? Because like Bryan said, this Red Sox offense is not that bad. I know people are still hung up on Devers not being in the lineup. Listen, when it's all said and done, I truly believe that we're like Devers, Roman Anthony, you know what I mean? I think Roman Anthony is going to end up being a superstar when it's all said and done. So I don't think paving the way to make room for him to hit third and then for Wilyer Abreu to come back in and get at bats, I just don't think the Devers absence makes that big of a deal. And so therefore I'm not down on the Red Sox offense. Richard Fitz, not someone that I don't understand the hype based on what I've watched with my own eyes with minor league baseball. I watch a ton of it. I've seen him pitch plenty at Worcester. I've seen him pitch in person, I think twice, during his time in AAA. I've never really fully got he's going to be a quality big league pitcher for a long time and on a 40-man roster. I don't know that he's ever really truly in a big league rotation. That's where the disconnect is for me. I think the Reds can definitely get to him. So my number is more than 10. Is that what this is right now, Bryan Leonard? 10?
10 right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, this is one of those scenarios where I feel like both teams get to 5. I think you're going to have both teams get to 5. It's like a 7-5 type game. I do lean toward the over. All right. Bryan Leonard, do you think is Canada Day, is Prez out in his backyard setting fireworks off and shit? How does that work?
I don't know, but I have a quick story, and I've said this before. I once went up when I was to Canada, back when they played in Exhibition Stadium, and I went up on the 4th of July with some friends of mine, and it's the 4th of July. It's in the United States. You celebrate it. That's, you set off the fireworks and everything. My buddy turns to the Canadian behind us. He goes, "So when is your 4th of July?" And the guy looks at me and goes, "July 4th?" What he meant was, when do you celebrate your independence? And it is a big deal up there. And they have Boxing Day also up there in Canada. And it's a very important day. And with Toronto playing at home here against the Yankees, with the Yankees ace on the mound, you would think that sellout crowd, big deal here in Toronto for this one. Fried against Gausman. Right now, Fried is basically a 153 favorite, and we're looking at an 8. And my first thought of this was Toronto's done against lefties. Let me see what Toronto's done the last month here. Toronto's 9th in baseball with a 104 WRC plus. So they've hit lefties pretty well lately. And even though the Yankees starter Fried is having a tremendous year, he's been a little bit lucky in that regard. His ERA comes in at 1.92, but his expected ERA is 3.30. His whip's excellent, 0.94. That's the best he's had in a while. Last year it was 1.16. So I see some regression coming for Max Fried. He doesn't walk anybody, which is great. Last year he walked 8%. And this year he's down to 4.9. 8 was kind of an outlier. Early in his career, 9.9, 14.1 in his first 2 seasons. Didn't pitch much, obviously. But he's gotten better in that. I think he'll walk more people as it goes on. I kind of like Toronto in this one. Gausman's been pitching pretty well. 4.21 ERA, 3.82 expected, 1.06 whip. He's not dominant, but he's not blowing you away in any categories. His chase rate in the 80th percentile, walk rate 75th. So he's been a solid pitcher. You're getting him hit home in this day game where there's probably going to be a lot of people there. And of course, Yankees fans travel, and they've always gone to Toronto. They've always gone to Cleveland, Detroit, in that area. There'll be a lot of Yankees fans there too. But I kind of like Toronto as a home underdog in this situation.
Yeah, Fried is elite, but can he keep it up is the question. And the way I have these two teams set up, man, I got Fried a lot better than Gausman, but I have both bullpens struggling a bit. And man, the Yankees bats are really struggling. So I would love to back the Yankees here, but being the fact that they're facing a really good pitcher, well, it hasn't been so great this season, but generally speaking, Gausman is a reliable guy. Two bad bullpens, one lineup that's totally struggling right now. So I'm not going to play this one, unfortunately. I did look at Fried and Gausman's strikeout props and outs props, and I didn't see anything I liked there either. So unfortunately, I have to stay off it.
Someone's asking if the roof's going to be open. I think it's based on how hot it is out. So if it like starts to approach like 90, or if it's going to be a very hot day, I think they typically would keep it closed. I would have to see what the roof open does to total runs. So I'm actually leaning toward another over here. That's scary. We've talked 2 games and I have like 2 overs that I can't see that ending well, but I kind of look at these two teams. The Blue Jays are rolling offensively right now. Timely hits. They're just I love the way this team is playing. I don't want to bet against them. I do think maybe a familiar face in Gossman could get the Yankees lineup going a little bit. He's a guy that's been around forever, which means the Yankees, everyone in this Yankees lineup for the most part has seen him a ton. Think that could maybe help the bats get going. The thing I think really helps the Yankees bats is at the end of this game when the Blue Jays suddenly don't have many bullpen arms. Because remember, they're still, Hoffman's pitched a couple days in a row. They're still without Garcia, right? Like they're still without Garcia at the end of games there. Bryan, is that correct? He's been out.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yes. So I've praised the Blue Jays bullpen numerous times, but the one thing I think they do lack is a little bit of depth. Like once you get past those couple high leverage guys. So for that reason, I think there could be runs here late. I don't think the Blue Jays are just going to get shut out by Fried. Like I could see them generating some offense off Fried. If you only need to get to 8 here, that seems reasonable. I make this one closer to 9. Again, not a huge edge, but I think I'd be on the over. This is another one. I said maybe Reds and Red Sox both get to 5. Kind of feel like both find their way to 4 at some point here. And if that happens, you've got an over. Bryan, did you have something else to add?
Yeah, Toronto's team total is 3.5 to the under 35. So you're getting paid plus money for them to score 4 runs. That might not be a bad bet either.
So HB Sports Video was the person that reminded me it was Canada Day, and he says the Dome will be open. So first thing I would do if I was going to bet that game from a totals perspective is just try to go get splits on runs, total runs with the roof open against the roof closed. I got to imagine the roof open makes the ball carry a little bit better. Is that usually how it goes, especially if it's kind of, I don't know. I'm not good at I don't know. I don't want to say something inaccurate, but again, I would check that. I'm sure it's out there where you can see Toronto total runs with the roof open. Stephen Fallon says over does make sense. So we'll see. We'll see if we get that one. All right. Jose Perez says roof open ball definitely carries. Okay. Got to do this one. Everyone's favorite team on this show is the Tigers, apparently. But I have an opinion here today, and I kind of want to talk about this team today. And I think my opinion is going to please the masses today. A little teaser. So we have the Detroit Tigers. They are they're hitting the road, heading to Washington, D.C. to take on the Washington Nationals. Bryan, Leonard, start us off, Tigers Nats.
Flaherty on the road. He's had major splits this year. His home games, 3.83 ERA, 1.11 whip. Road games, 6.17 ERA, 1.40 whip. That is a concern here. Current line on this game is Detroit, basically about a 150 favorite, maybe 151, and a total of 9.5 with Williams going for Washington. Williams is a guy that I usually find value in, but this year he just hasn't pitched very well. He comes in with a 5.65 ERA, 4.21 expected, 1.47 whip. His whip in his career is 1.37. That's been his major problem. He does, if he gets behind on a good hitter, he'll not try to challenge him. He'll just put him on. And there's a few guys that do that, and I fully understand that. One of the injured Padres pitchers is one of the guys that does that, and is with the Dodgers now. So, Williams doesn't walk anybody. 86th percentile, extension 83rd percentile, but he does get hit hard. Fastball velocity in the first percentile, and he still throws that fastball 42% of the time. If you don't have a good fastball, don't throw it. This is the major leagues. That's where he gets into trouble. He's got some other pitches. He got 4 other pitches he throws 9% or more. You mix more of those in. You just can't. You cannot have a bad fastball in Major League Baseball and succeed. If you can throw 95 and higher, you can have some success. We'll get to the Cleveland game a little bit later, and that's the situation that Williams is in. But in this one here, I don't want to lay the number on Flaherty on the road because he does struggle on the road. Washington's got good young hitters. We like them. We like them like Miami's young hitters. We found some success that way here. So if I was to play anything in this one, it may be a Washington team total over. Currently, the team total on this one is 3.5 to the over on 40. So you get 4 runs in this one out of the host. You got a chance. That's a lean for me. It probably won't make my card, but that's the way I would look at this one.
Yeah, I actually have Williams ranked higher than Flaherty, which is kind of surprising because I don't like Williams at all. I guess, I mean, strikeouts wise, Flaherty's strikeouts is 5.5 here. It's pretty hard to get 6 strikeouts. I mean, he did it his last game against the Athletics. Before that, he got 3, and he's really up and down. He does get 5 here, but you know, I that would be one way to go. Otherwise, other than that, he walks people less than Williams, but Tigers are better at everything besides the starter, and the starter discrepancy is not that big in my opinion. Bullpen wise, Tigers have a huge advantage. Batting, they're both hitting really well. I guess I might even go with a Tigers team total over here. Going with the team total theme. Maybe not enough for me to play it, but I would either go Tigers or Tigers team total here.
Yeah, I see a pretty considerable edge here for the Tigers. Not sure that I want to pay the price for it, like minus 150. Probably the line is about right here in my opinion, but you've got a Tigers team that didn't play yesterday, that played on Sunday, and it was Skubal for 7, and then pretty easy inning for Canely, pretty easy inning for Vest. I don't see Williams limiting the damage enough where the Tigers aren't in position to win this game late. And so the only thing I could see being an issue here for the Tigers is if they give Flaherty too long of a leash, because he's like a veteran guy and he's kind of, I guess he's earned the right to like go out there and throw 100 pitches if he can, right? Because like AJ Hinch doesn't mess around with certain people, right? Some guys, it's like the second he thinks he wants to play bullpen matchup, he's going to do it. But I do feel like Flaherty gets that like veteran respect sometimes, where like they're gonna sort of let him stay in, right? Like he's not as quick to yank him as he is like maybe pretty much anyone other than Tariq Skubal, who can do whatever he wants. That's fine. So for me here, if I knew the second Flaherty was going to get into trouble in this game, that he was out, I'd be all in on the Tigers here, because this is, again, I don't think Williams limits the damage enough where the Tigers aren't into the 6th or the 7th inning, either tied or in the lead. So maybe this is something Brian Leonard likes to talk about, where you kind of watch and see how it's going. And then if it's a close game, maybe Tigers down 1 where you know you're going to get bullpen arms. I would say the Tigers have a considerable advantage at the end of this game. So I lean Tigers. Don't know if it'll make my client card, but I really just truly feel that they're just far superior. And Williams is not the guy that I want to go to war with the Nats. There are guys on this rotation that I'm fine with backing. Williams is not one of them. So Tigers are pass for me. Titan CT. It's July 1st.
Yeah.
We have to talk about them. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, let me interrupt real quick. Before you get to the next game, tell everyone that it's $5 Tuesday.
I think you just did.
$5 Tuesday. If you see, I just did. If you look down there, all of us probably will have a $5 play out. I already have one out, but let's do a quick promo here. We are the best baseball cappers probably on the planet. You can get a play from us for $5, and baseball is pretty much the only thing going on right now. So go down there to the scroll bar. You'll see all of our sites. And we usually put free plays up too. So there is value in taking the 5 seconds to go check our web pages out. Sorry, go ahead.
If Brandon only had a little bit of confidence,
yeah,
the best handicappers probably in the world.
I would say so.
And also like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Again, it goes a long way for us. The
replay
likes and subscribes are huge. Okay, we're getting back to baseball chat. It is July 1st. Titan CT, we have to talk about the Mets because they're writing a $1.1 million check to Bobby Bonilla again today. I believe there's 10 more years of this. I believe we've got 10 more years of Bobby Bonilla collecting $1.193 million on July 1st. But that's no big deal. Money is no option to that organization. They're paying Juan Soto $1 trillion as well. So, to this point, though, Bryan Leonard hasn't fully paid off yet, but it's still kind of early. That being said, the Mets after this past weekend, I don't know where I don't know what needs to happen. I think you got to bring Grimace back out for a first pitch, get something going because I got to be honest. That was, I know you took a tough loss with the Mets for a 5%er. That was so baffling to me. I thought for sure that off of those two Braves wins, the Mets, this was a dream spot for the Mets to just take off. And not only did they not win your game on Friday, they got absolutely smacked around all weekend. It is hard to wrap my head around it. Where do they go and what do you expect to see from them here?
Bobby Bonilla hasn't played for the Mets in decades, and he's still the only guy on this team who earned his paycheck this month. This team's been horrendous. I'm dumbfounded by the talent on this team and the way they have played. They have done everything possible. They brought up guys from the minors. They've sent some guys down. They changed the pitching staff. They've had other guys coming in. They've had team meetings. Nothing has changed here for the Mets. And to be totally honest with you, the first thing I looked at last night was how can I go against the Mets today? Unfortunately, everybody, including the lines maker, knows a lot of the Mets fans have fallen off the side of the boat and they're not getting back on. Game opens up. Holmes against Peralta. Holmes is about a 120 favorite. Peralta catching about a 110 the other way. Total of 8.5. If this game had been played 2 weeks ago, Holmes is probably about a 150 favorite. So you've lost a lot of value by the way this is going for Milwaukee. And I would still play Milwaukee at the bad number rather than play the Mets. Freddie Peralta, 2.90 ERA, 3.74 expected. So some luck on his side, 1.13 whip. He's a fly ball pitcher. 77% of the time it's a fly ball compared to the ground ball. Ground ball 23rd percentile. So this is a pretty good pitcher's ballpark, so I don't think that'll affect him. This is one of those guys that still throws the four-seamer a lot, 58%, but his fastball velocity is still above league average, 61st percentile. Average exit velocity, 76. So he still has that dominant fastball, and some other guys just don't have it. Clay Holmes, he's been lucky. He's been very lucky, and I've got him on a few of my fantasy teams, and I'm waiting for the axe to fall, as they say. 2.97 ERA, 4.12 expected, 1.24 whip. Great ground ball pitcher, 90th percentile. Terrible extension, 7th percentile. He's one of those bend but don't break guys so far this year, and I'm afraid it's going to break pretty soon. I prefer Milwaukee in this game. Maybe let's take a look at the team total here for the Brewers. 3.5 over 35. So they get to 4, they get a winner. Yeah, I can do that. Milwaukee team total, probably my best play on this game.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear Bryan saying that, because when I looked at this line, the first thing I thought is, why are the Brewers underdog here? It doesn't make sense to me. So I looked at batting. Brewers, huge advantage. The Mets are doing nothing these days. Just terrible. Bullpen, Mets ranked 23, Brewers ranked 8, and Peralta is ranked higher than Clay Holmes. So I look for something to talk me out of it. I'm kind of like an alcoholic, waiting for someone to take the bottle out of my hand, right? So I go to Peralta's career numbers against the Mets, and they're stellar. A 143 average against and 63 at bats, a 604 OPS. Amazing. So the only red flag I saw on the Brewers today is the fact that Peralta his numbers are pretty poor on the road compared to his home. His home numbers, he's got like a 1.42 ERA, and on the road it's like 4.02, 4.01, something like that. So that was the only thing I saw. But I think the fact that against these batters, he has held them down. I don't really care if he's in New York or not. Another thing that scares me a little bit is the Mets are a really good home team, but I think they're stuck in the mud right now, and I think that trumps the fact that their home record's really good. So yeah, I mean, when teams are having team meetings and then go out and get outscored 34 to
Yes.
4 in a 3-game series after a player only team meeting, that tells you I don't see them shaking it. They're going to eventually, but is it going to be today against Peralta? I doubt it. So I like Milwaukee on plus money.
I'm going to take 2 comments from the chat, and that's going to be my breakdown for this game, because that's exactly what I agree with, and I don't have much more past this. Ethan says, like the spot for both teams in this one. Gut tells me the Mets get the W, but don't want to take them as a favorite right now. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. My gut says they find a way here. I'm not laying the minus 125. I also agree with Chad. If this was 14 days ago, and this is pretty much what Bryan said, if this was 14 days ago, we'd be like, why are the Mets only minus 125 against the Brewers? It is a scary one, and I'm with you guys. I think Sean commented about Peralta in the chat. Like, I don't mind playing against the Brewers at some point in this series. The one guy I don't really care to play against in this Brewers rotation right now, well, other than Mr. Oski, I suppose, but like Peralta has just been good for a long time. Now, how do the Mets win this game? Probably hit a couple home runs. That's the one area Peralta will give up the fly ball. And if they can if the Mets can hit a couple that leave the ballpark, I wouldn't be surprised if Holmes, they find a way with Holmes. Good comment. I don't know. I got to see if this is a. I'm still getting called out in the chat for not knowing today was Canada Day. That is totally on me. Hand up. I got to be better.
We're not Canadian.
I got to be better to our.
Yeah, you are dual citizenship. I mean, who would know that?
I mean, I live. I could be at the Canadian border in less than 2 hours from where I live.
Are you a dual citizen though?
No,
I'm not.
Oh, okay. We're not Canadian. Why do we have to know other countries' holidays?
Okay, here's a quick. Without looking for all the viewers, when is Bastille Day?
Exactly. We don't need to know other countries' holidays. Give me a break. We're not Canadian.
Yeah, but
don't be ridiculous, you guys.
It's more about being a baseball fan. It happens every year. I should know that random Tuesday day game in July is Canada Day. Anyway, Chris B says, FYI, Mets 27-9 as home favorites, 75% win rate. Well, fits that today.
That's when they're hitting.
Okay, I mean that's still a pretty glaring sort of number right there. If I remember correctly, they had no problem beating the Braves last week as a home favorite. So now they're back as home favorites here. Lean Mets, but I'm not going to waste any more time on it. That is it's just not the spot that I personally want.
Guys,
to get
I did not say Canada. I did not say Canada sucks. I like Canada, and I have Canadian friends. I'm just saying, when you're an American, you don't have to know other countries' holidays. I'm sure Mexicans don't know, the holidays in Holland. Who cares? Seriously.
Well, I mean, Mexicans laugh. Anyone of Mexican descent absolutely just gets a good chuckle at the fact that we celebrate Cinco de Mayo as a holiday in this country. I know. My fiance's family lived in Mexico for a few years while her dad was running a factory or something down there. Had to move there for a few years, and they get a good laugh at the fact that we celebrate Cinco de Mayo here.
We celebrate anything where you can drink is basically what it is.
Pretty much. Okay, let's grab another game. Huge slate. We'll talk about this one. We'll talk about this one. We have to. Yeah, the Giants are just. I don't know. I can't believe how wrong I've been on.
You got to put the comment up.
Yeah, it's my guy G Hurt. Okay. He said we need to talk about how the Giants are actually a bad team. I can't really defend myself at this point. The team can't hit. They traded for a 3-hitter that should have made their lineup They had no problem winning games before this guy showed up, and now they just can't get it done. So this is another one where, like, I'd like to think that things are going to turn for them because they were 10 games over 500 without Rafael Devers. He significant on paper. He should improve their lineup tenfold. They gave up no one that they really needed to get him, and now they can't win a baseball game. Make it make sense, Bryan Leonard.
That was, I won 1-1 yesterday. I did lose Texas in extra innings, but my winner was San Francisco first half under, and they were shut out through the first 5. They did tie the game later on, but yeah, it's not that the Giants are a bad team. It's just their hitters are not hitting well right now. They'll be getting their third baseman back in the next few days. Matt Chapman took batting practice yesterday. He's an all-star type of player, obviously great defender, but he'll be back in there, and they won't have to use some of their other guys. And Carcion's another guy that keeps getting hurt. He's a big bat for this offense. Swings and misses a lot, but he gives them some power. But yeah, I'm in agreement with the Giants right now. They're not hitting at all. This game, we take a look at the line. San Francisco Birdsong against Gallen. Gallen, a 130 favorite and a total of 9. And for Gallen to be favored in a baseball game tells you how bad the San Francisco offense is playing. Zach Gallen, if he was on the Dodgers, he would be coming out of the bullpen at this point and be lucky to be on the team. He has not played well all season long, and he comes in this game with a 5.75 ERA, 4.97 expected, 1.41 whip. There is not anything red on his Savant page at all. You take a look at his breaking ball run value, first percentile, pitching run value, first percentile, fastball run value, fourth percentile, and yet he throws this four-seam fastball 48% of the time. This is a guy who is obviously at the end of his career, and they paid him a lot of money. They're trying to get some innings out of him, and it's just not working. Hayden Birdsong, a young guy that we all like, but 4.13 ERA, 4.12 expected, 1.38 whip. We like his future, but his current is not that great. So we've got an Arizona team that should be able to put some runs on the board against Birdsong here, and they're going to need them with Gallen on the mound. I think San Francisco, the one time I don't want to play them under a team total is against Zach Gallen. So I think Arizona, maybe team total over would be the way I would look at this one.
$5 Tuesday, guys. Get one of our plays for $5. Our pages are all down there, and we also put free plays up as well. I have 2 actually specials going on. 7 days, use code TB7, 7 days for $69, and the rest of 2005 for less than $3 a day. Go to our pages and check out the deals Adam and Bryan have as well. On to this game. First inclination, the Giants pretty much do everything better than the Diamondbacks except hit. So this is one of those games where strength and weaknesses kind of cancel each other out. I mean, yeah, Gallen's been horrible. He's given up 20 earned runs in his last 4 starts. So that's not good. But the Giants have not been producing. I got them ranked 26 out of 30 in run production. So is facing Gallen enough to wake their bats up? I tend to be one of those guys who likes to ride a streak until it's gone and then jump on it. So until the Giants show me they can hit, I don't want to, you know, if you're betting something because it's due, so to speak, you're not going to win very much. So especially in baseball, maybe football or other sports that I don't cap, maybe, but baseball, I found that that's not true. So, I don't know how to play this one because I have the bullpens both pretty mediocre, pretty average next to each other. And I got both starters not so good. The Diamondbacks hit a lot better than San Francisco, but San Francisco's facing a tomato can today. So will their bats wake up? Yes or no? I don't want to put my money on it. Adam.
I mean, the Giants have a monster bullpen edge here. monster bullpen edge for the Giants. Giants have been one of the best bullpens in the league all year. I mean, they rate out in basically the top category of every relevant relief metric in Major League Baseball. Not even just the NL. I mean, the Giants have had an elite bullpen all season, so there's a big advantage there. The problem is the hitting. Now, if there was ever a scenario where the Giants were going to hit, it's probably against a guy that's in their own division that they have a big sample size against, like a Zach Gallen, a guy that's struggling like a Zach Gallen. And the thing is, like, I don't care who it is. I don't trust this Diamondbacks bullpen at all right now in the leverage spots. Now, yes, Shelby Miller came in, got the save yesterday. That's great. But they have no leverage depth. So it's like, if they get in another close, I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to string together close wins going forward. That's going to be a thing. Now, can the Diamondbacks win games 10-2? They can, right? Like they've got the explosiveness where they can string the wins together because they're up big and they don't need the sort of leverage type arms to close things out. But right here, they probably will. Like that's the one thing. Even with the Giants playing poorly and losing games of late, the Giants really don't get blown out. They lose games 4-2, 1-0. That's how they lose games. So you've got a Diamondbacks team
that's how they win games too, though.
And that's how they win games too. That's a great point.
Yeah, 2-1, 3-1. Exactly.
Arizona so remember, no off day for Arizona. They played on Monday night, as we know. Last 4 days, they were in a 9-8 game with the Marlins that they lost. I think they lost at the end. I think they rallied and then came short on Friday night. They lost 7-8 in 10 innings on Saturday. They end up losing 6-4 in a game where they had their leverage arms out there and got blown up in the 8th inning with a lead. And then last night, they do finally win one, but they still burned arguably their best arm at this point in Shelby Miller. I don't know that they burned him. He threw 15 pitches, but still, I mean, probably their best arm in the bullpen right now pitched last night. I think the Giants plus 120 is an excellent price here. I actually think it's a good bet. Whether I'm going to do it for clients or not, I have to think about it, but it could only be the Giants here. At that price, how could you pass up the ability to fade Gallen, the fact that you're probably going to get, I mean, worst case scenario, you're in a close game against the Diamondbacks bullpen with the best bullpen in baseball or one of them. Strong lean Giants. I'm going to say, I know we got to lock parlay legs in at some point here over the next 20 minutes. I'm not going to lock it in yet, but I strongly am considering the Giants for that spot. Go ahead, Brian.
Let me go to my game since we are.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to have people have to wait the whole time. I am going to take a look at this Cleveland Chicago Cubs game. It's Williams against Boyd. Boyd is currently about a 170 favorite. Lines 8 to the under, -15. Cleveland, we know, is struggling terribly offensively, and they're also terrible against left-handed pitchers. If you take a look since June 1st, which would be a month now, Cleveland is 27th in baseball with a WRC plus of 68 over, which is very bad. Not as bad as the Mets, by the way, 62. But they're one of the worst in baseball, and that's just not this month. That's the way that's been all along for Cleveland. That's why they brought Thomas to the team, and they bring Thomas to the team, and he doesn't hit lefties like he did before he came here. So came to Cleveland. But I really like the situation here. We've got the former Cleveland Guardian, Matthew Boyd, on the mound. He played for this team last year. He knows the team. The team knows him. It's an advantage for him because regardless if the team knows him, if he can't hit a lefty, it's not going to change anything. The only thing I don't like about him is he still throws too many fastballs. And we've already talked about that so far on this show. I'm not a big guy that likes the fastballs. Gavin Williams has pitched much better as of late. He's even got an ERA below 4 now, 3.68, but a 4.35 expected, 1.43 whip. Career whip 1.35. That's the problem. He's in the 5th percentile in walk rate. Everything else looks pretty good, but if you give free rein on the base pass when you've got too many walks, that's something that hurts him. but he's been pretty good as of late. Matthew Boyd, another really good season. In Cleveland, he had a 2.72 ERA, 1.13 whip. In Chicago, he's got a 2.65 ERA, 1.10 whip. This is a guy who knows how to pitch. He is a fly ball pitcher, but that's not a concern today because the wind is blowing in and towards third base at about 8 miles an hour. And so I don't think we're going to see many home runs in this game. What I like here is the Cleveland team total under 3.5 at minus 128. Cleveland's got to score 4 runs in Chicago against the lefty, who is a crafty lefty, and they've got to be able to do that with the wind slightly blowing in. I don't see it. I don't see this Cleveland offense waking up right now. And if you've watched them, a lot of bad swings. Stephen Kwan's not playing well. There's been talk out there with the trade deadline coming up that they may have to trade Stephen Kwan. This is a tight-knit group of players in this locker room. Anytime you start talking about trading your best players, that makes them nervous. And if a player is nervous, a team is nervous, they get tight and they don't hit. And I think that's kind of why they're playing so bad right now. So that's going to be my part of the parlay. The Cleveland team total under 3.5 at minus 128.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments. I'm zoning out. I'm tired tonight. Looking at this, agree with Bryan. Gavin Williams is the number 1 chronic walker in all of Major League Baseball. If you can get his walks over 1.5, definitely take it. But the book is wise to it. They're putting him out. They're putting only him out at 2.5 these days. I would not take 2.5, but if you can get 1.5, I would take it. So Boyd, yeah, great command. He doesn't walk people. He's under 30% in walks to strikes ratio, which is pretty rare. Gavin Williams is more like 60. So we got a walker here. Cubs have been smashing it. Top 10 lineup, top 10 bullpen, top 10 starter. What else can you say? Cleveland is one of the few teams. Let's see. I got 3 teams here that rank 20 or worst in batting and bullpen. There's only 3 teams in MLB. Cleveland is one, the Athletics are the other, and actually Philadelphia Phillies are another. So those 3 teams I would like to fade as much as I can. So I think Cubs would be the only way to go here. Maybe a -1, maybe a -1.5. I certainly would not argue with Bryan's team total under for Cleveland as well.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I'm kind of with Chad in the chat. I don't know if I would lay a -1.5 for the home team, but it certainly feels like the Cubs could lay it on the Guardians tonight. I'm just not super confident in Gavin Williams. I've said this on a number of occasions, and Bryan's talked about this at length. He just has not been the same pitcher that he was prior to getting hurt. I felt like last year was almost like a lost season for him in a lot of cases. He got in late. He was down in the minors for a while, sort of like rehabbing his way back, but also kind of ended up down there for a while. Never really made it back to what he was the season before. So I thought coming in, like, okay, this is going to be a big potential bounce back year for him. Really hasn't been, and the ERA is like deceiving in my opinion. His 3.68 ERA should be far higher. He's walking 3-4 guys pretty much minimum 3 walks to start. I look at some of these games recently, managed to get out of that Blue Jays game in 5 1/3 with only 3 runs. That could have been worse, right? Like he definitely wiggled out of a spot in that one. That could have been worse. 6 shutout innings against the Giants, which we know right now that team is just not hitting. Only lasted 4 against the Mariners. Again, 3 runs, 6 innings against the Astros. It's another game that probably could have been worse. There was traffic on the bases. He got out of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a blow up in his future. And what better place for a blow up? Wrigley Field, with a Cubs team that has fantastic at bats 1 through 9, even when they're struggling a little bit. it's good at bat after good at bat. I don't know that Gavin Williams can survive that. So Cubs are passed for me for sure.
I will point out that 8 of his 16 starts, he has walked 3 or more batters.
Yeah,
he's a chronic walker.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He's a chronic walker, TV. And you can't
he's the
do
number
that.
one. He's the number one chronic walker. And while we're on the topic, let me just give you guys who my chronic walkers are. Gavin Williams, Walker Buehler, Grant Holmes, Edward Cabrera, and Jose Quintana are my biggest chronic walkers on my list.
Walker Buehler says right in his name. We should have figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah, his parents named him.
Guys can pitch around walks. Like it's I have no problem with. I mean, back in the day, you had guys that were good enough to straight up walk someone because they just didn't want to face him because they knew they could get the next guy out.
Yep.
You can't just walk batters against the Cubs. That's one team that is going to, like, 9 times out of 10 is going to make you pay for the free pass. Not every team. The Giants won't do it, right? So I could see how Gavin Williams can put a couple guys on and get through 6 scoreless against the Giants. Rest assured, the Cubs are going to make you pay for free base runners. And I would be shocked if they don't make him pay in some fashion here. Yeah, so I'm with you, Chad. Yeah, I'm with you, Chad. Cubs are pass, without a doubt. All right. And he's like, well, the Giants bullpen didn't help them last night. Yeah, that's why I haven't locked it in yet. I'm having a hard time getting to the window with the Giants, even though a lot says, Giants plus 120, you should do it. Gene in the chat. Let's go to this game. And we'll get the other 2 parlay legs. We've got 10 minutes left, so don't worry. We'll have a 3-teamer locked in for you by the end of the show. But I want to talk about this one because Gene and a couple others have brought this up. He says, he's saying Tokyo Brandon, but we're going to go to Bryan first, and then TB can follow up. Emerson Hancock, under 3.5 Ks. He really likes this. Talk me off. That's Royals, Mariners out west tonight. Royals getting slapped around by the Mariners last night. It's Lorenzen, it's Hancock. Brian Leonard, do you see anything in this one?
Current line. We're looking at Seattle 134, total of 8. I wish I trusted the Kansas City offense a little bit because I think there's a little value there. I'm not a big Hancock fan. Lorenzen gives you innings. He's not the greatest pitcher, but you got to have those kind of guys on your staff every once in a while. I don't have much to play on this one. I just I would have, if Kansas City was hitting a little bit better, I think I'd look that side, but I'll be passing.
I'm going to pass on this one too. Unfortunately, Hancock doesn't register in my database. Maybe he doesn't have enough innings in the last 30 days. Lorenzen got him ranked 23 out of 30 on a curve of 30. Both bullpens pretty good. Casey's is performing a little bit better, but Kansas City can't hit their way out of a paper bag. I told you guys in the chat yesterday, Kansas City can't hit, and everyone said they just scored 9 runs yesterday. Look, Kansas City can't score. They just scored 2 yesterday again, and that's who they are. So maybe you'll have an outlier where they are winning a game and the other team just throws their crappy pitchers out there and lets them tee off on them. That's what you saw when they scored 9 runs. They're not a 9-run team, and they're a terrible offense. So under would probably be the only way I go on this, but the fact that I don't have numbers on Hancock makes me stay off it.
So here's where I'll put these 2 games next to each other, and these are not going to be my parlay legs. I'm going to give mine out in a second. I think if you take the Royals and the Giants tonight, you're making money. That is my gut. I think both of those teams at plus money is value. I don't see you doing worse than a split, at which case, Royals in the plus 125 range, plus 123, Giants around plus 120. I think you're probably splitting with the upside of 2-0 with 2+ money dogs. I have no idea which one is going to win. They very well could go 0-2, but my gut says the Royals and the Giants are both very undervalued based on what they've done recently, and they would be good bets at plus money. Emerson Hancock has been very inconsistent. He shows flashes, but he is not someone that I'm not willing to play against. Gene, I'm with you. I don't know that he comes in and just racks up a bunch of strikeouts, so I don't dislike that. I really am fine with anything correlated to Hancock having a bad start because he's a 4A type guy for me at this point. I just don't know that he's really, gonna do much in a big league rotation if he's in the rotation regularly. I think when he's down in Tacoma and he dips in, comes up, like he can have a good start, but he's not someone that I think is going to consistently have good starts at the big league level, at least not yet. So I'm totally fine with playing the Royals in some capacity here. I'm not overly confident in the Royals right now. How can you be? Same thing with the Giants, but I do think the recent form has watered down their profile enough where you've got to start thinking about taking them at plus 125. And Brian Leonard has talked about this numerous times. The Mariners, they're just not quite as appealing at home where they're not, it's harder to hit home runs. So I like the Royals. I agree with you, Emerson. I agree with you, Gene. Emerson Hancock, probably a fade tonight. Okay. I'm going to throw a game to you two. I'm going to use this as my parlay leg. I was very disappointed last night. I had Rangers as a 5% play. They stranded a runner on third with less than 2 outs in the 8th and 9th inning. They tied the game in the 10th, only to go on and lose in the 11th inning. A tough way for a 5%er to go, and a tough way to end a month that was really good month for me aside from that. My parlay leg today will be the Rangers with Jacob deGrom. So a couple things I took away from that game last night. Listen, the Rangers have faced a lot of on-field adversity this year. They've had guys that have been in career like literally the worst slump of Jock Peterson's career, the worst slump of Marcus Semion's career. They've had Corey Seager out of the lineup on multiple occasions. But yet last night they still made so many winning plays in that game of a team. Michael Hellman, tremendous base running play to have the wherewithal when that ball trickled into center field when he went to steal, that he could probably score, and knowing that there was 2 outs and the leadoff guy would be up the next inning, he forced the Orioles to make a play. He was safe at home. It's why I'm surprised the Rangers could not win that game, because they just scratched and clawed to get back into it, put themselves in position to win, and just came up a little short. The reason I'm bringing that up is this team is 3 games under 500, yet everything that's gone against them so far this year, they should be 10 games under 500. They have fantastic starting pitching. And I think this game, where it falls, Jacob deGrom at home up against Brandon Young and the Orioles bullpen, which has been used up, I really think this is a spot where deGrom comes out and says, you know what, I'm not holding anything back tonight. My team needs me. This is this might as well be a playoff game for us in terms of like, we have to win this game. I'm going to give 100 of the best pitches I can give tonight. And I really would be surprised if the Orioles can put together 9 innings with Brandon Young to a tired bullpen that doesn't have a ton of depth. I've said this about the Rangers bullpen. The Rangers lack elite high leverage arms, but they're very deep in the bullpen. It's like arm number 1 and 2 are not that much different than arm number 6 and 7 in the Rangers bullpen. I think that's very important in a game like this where no one has a bullpen because they've been very used up. So I'm going to take Jacob deGrom and the Rangers to win this game. Yes, I know I could go the first 5 route, but I think this is such a big game for the Rangers to win. I think deGrom's going 7, and I think they're going to get this done. And the Orioles have been bet a little bit, so I actually think I'm getting a favorable price to do so. Brian Leonard, what do I get for Rangers money line right now?
Just to touch on this, it's currently about 176. Brandon Young, they sent back down to the minors, and then when Eflin got hurt the other day, they had to bring him back. He's pitched 3 major league games, gone 4 innings in all 3 of them, given up 3, 4, and in 3 runs. So he's somebody that can get hit. If Texas is coming out of that hitting slump, they can do it here. Although you got to admit, Jacob deGrom's not used to getting a lot of offensive support in his career. But I was on Texas. That was my loser last night. So I can do that too. I think you're on the right side of that one.
Yeah. Rangers offense is just horrible. I mean, Corey Seager wouldn't even start on the Dodgers. Their highest average guy hits 277.
Whoa. Yeah, that I don't agree with.
I'll give you a chance to take that back. Corey Seager would be like a top 3 player.
Corey Seager hits 244 with 10 home runs. I mean, come on.
He's up to the MVP just about every year.
Guy's been playing on a bad hamstring. All right, keep going.
Well,
that's
their highest average guy hits 277. Their highest average guy hits 277. I mean, this team cannot score. and I don't see it changing. Got them ranked 19th right now, which is probably the highest they've been all season. Bullpen not performing well either. DeGrom is great. The Orioles are smashing though, so I would approach this one with caution. Orioles bullpen is horrible though. So yeah, I'm not going to play it just because I don't have enough information on Young, but I'm definitely not a Corey Seager fan.
Stephen Fallon, lotto, go play Powerball or Mega Millions, whatever you got to do. That is a lotto ticket type win, right? If you cash with the over in that game last night, that's one of those ones where you got to go test try your luck out somewhere, because that's one of those ones where it's just like found money. I know someone that had the under and they were just like, I don't think they got much sleep last night. Let's put it that way. Rangers had the chance. I mean, there was really not much offense in that game until late. Rangers had multiple chances to win it, and then you lose your under on just the fireworks that happen when there's a ghost runner, which is a rule that we need to. My goal is to make this, listen, like and subscribe. I need this show to get big enough so I have a big enough platform to campaign against getting rid of the ghost runner, the worst rule in professional sports. Go ahead, Bryan.
Also, if you're getting, and I know we're getting close to the end, if you're giving out rule changes, any stats you accumulate against a non-pitcher should not count on your records.
Yeah, I hate that too. Orioles on Friday night, 22 runs, right? Like, it just can't be. I get why they're doing it, but it's happening far too often, in my opinion. I think
some guy's going to win an MVP one of these years where he gets 4 or 5 games against somebody's shortstop, and he bets 1,000 against him, and he's going to win the MVP. They got to do something about it.
All right, we have a 3-teamer to close out right now. Tokyo Brandon, what is your parlay leg for today?
Dodgers money line. I'm cheating.
All right.
Dodgers money line. Look, the Dodgers have Yamamoto. I'm not going to get too much into the analysis. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The Dodgers' Achilles heel is their bullpen, but I expect Yamamoto to go maybe 7 innings in this game, so it shouldn't be much of a factor. Scott's been a good closer, so they really only have to patch out 1 inning there if Yamamoto can go 7. I like Dodgers on the money line. I know it's cheating. You guys can throw your tomatoes at me, but hey, it's a 3-leg parlay. I'll take a minus 300.
I have no issues. With that. I mean, Bryan, what is the price on that though? Are we looking at like 320 or something?
With High Line, you can get anywhere from Pinnacle, which is usually pretty good. They're at 307 all the way up to 340 at DraftKings. So yeah, I said 330. Yeah.
I better not be the reason we lose.
We have not had success on these big favorites, by the way.
I understand.
I have no problem with that. It is again, it's a 3-teamer. And so far this year, I'm going to read it off one more time. So far this year, even with a little bit of a dip lately, for every dollar, if you were to play these equally, for the same amount, every dollar would have returned so far $11.24. And listen, sometimes you got to throw some favorites in there. We need to get one. And I actually think I like this one right here. It is plus 266. We have Rangers money line. Listen, TB, I picked the big favorite, so is what it is. Rangers money line, Dodgers money line, and then Bryan's giving us a little bit of odds here with Guardians team total under 3.5. So one more time, today's parlay for the show, a 3-teamer. Plus 266 odds. We have Rangers money line, Dodgers money line, and then Bryan Leonard's got the Guardians team total under 3.5. All right, we've made it to the end of the show. Again, I want to point out we will be here Friday. So 4th of July, I think it's the only show on Wager Talk on Friday. Everyone else taking the day off. We're like, no, it's too big of a baseball day. We got to do the show. So we will be completing the week every day right here, 9 a.m. Eastern. Sorry, I was looking at the comments. 9 a.m. Eastern, right here every day. We'll be back tomorrow morning. It is $5 Tuesday at Wager Talk. We'll all have plays up for $5. But more importantly, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And we'll see you guys in the morning, 9 a.m.